Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. I'd like to kick off the new year to congratulate the last half a dozen TechDeck owners. Dee, who has his GPS unit, from Inman, South Carolina, and Patrick from Phoenix, Arizona. Congrats, Pat, on your second GPS unit. You must be a busy guy to order a second one. So what kind of a sister would buy her brother a GPS unit? All I'll say is she's in New York. That's it. We'll talk more about this one later. Also, Chris, today actually, from Barrie, Ontario, Canada, just ordered a GPS unit. And Logan also just received a GPS unit from Waunakee, Wisconsin. And Maury from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Congrats to all of you. I hope that in some way, shape, or form my little shop tour video inspires you to kind of set up your own home shop, like so many have done. And you will see that very tricky refret and fingerboard correction on that spectacular Foley guitar, it was all done on the GPS unit. There were no CNC machines. A CNC machine wouldn't do you any good on that job. It was done with the fretting kit, the sanding blocks, the various straight edges to be able to gently change that trajectory without losing too much inlay. We did lose a little whisper of inlay right at the neck joint, but other than that, very happy with the way that turned out. And most importantly, it's now silky smooth end to end and perfectly in tune. So this is a long shot from the back door basically to the front wall. For those of you that have been following, you know I've got this typewriter desk. I have my leather pad actually velcroed to the typewriter desk, and it gives me a soft layout surface for doing a multitude of things. So when I flip this open, I have my sharpening stone driven by a foot switch. So the nice thing about these typewriter desks is when you don't need it, well, just put it away. Now I've got this working surface back. This tapered wedge I use for a backup when I'm leveling fingerboards. Fingerboards obviously that are off the guitar. And this is how I kind of load up my TechDeck. I have that pool noodle foam that I've kind of switched over to because it's so available and so affordable. So I've got all my little mini files sort of jammed into that. Everything's ready to snap up and go. I don't have to search for anything. Everything's at my fingertips. And in the front trough here, I have all the typical truss rod adjustment wrenches, Allen keys and wrenches. Little mini paint brushes, artist brushes, for everything from oil to brushing dust off to spreading glue, etc., etc. Now underneath the body platform, I have 4 snap-shut containers, 2 on each side. This one in the foreground has my braided belt and cable and the cloth fender wire. So here I've got the XLT unit, 1967 Coronado 2, that we'll be doing a refret on. Again, you can see underneath the body platform, tons of room. I've got all kinds of parts in those snap-shut containers. Those little tiny brushes, I buy them at the dollar store, and I use them for spreading glue along the nut shelf when I'm gluing a nut in. Among other things, I can use them for a quick touch-up as well. This is to the right of the neck assembly. There's the front trough on this one. I've got all my, again, all your typical wrenches you're going to need for adjusting truss rods. And then either side of the neck assembly, I've got tools jammed into that foam. And the trough on this end at the base of the body platform, I keep all of the miniature Allen keys that are used typically, for adjusting bridges, Floyd Rose, or the Fender saddles. Same thing on this TechDeck. I do have that bridge pin reamer as well, and the different tapered bridge pin reamer I have in this trough. So within this little footprint here, I have my old Rockwell bandsaw, which is also driven by a foot switch. And the conversion kit for the drill press, this spherical radius sander, also driven by a foot switch. I have my 6-inch Poitras jointer and this old letter rack that my dad made about 65 years ago that I've converted into a tool rack. And I have these library shelves that a really close friend of mine gave me many years ago, and they save a huge amount of room in this small space. Gotta remember, I'm working in a 225 square foot workshop. So the nice thing about these shelves is they're very shallow. They're only 8 inches deep, so they don't encroach on the floor space of my shop, and yet they give me tons of storage. So these containers I picked up at the local surplus store. I think they were 99 cents a piece or something. And I've got them filled with foam, like a high-density foam, and as you can see, I've got my chisels and files and Allen keys and punches, and they're all just jammed into that foam. And at a glance, everything's there. I don't have to search for anything. When you're in a shop this size, every cubic inch counts. I have my edge sander along that back wall, and then I have my 12-inch vertical disc sander here. And this is also run by a foot switch. As you can see, I've got some more of those library shelves. There's a lot of stuff packed onto those little shelves. The other thing that's nice about them being so shallow, at a glance I can find whatever I need. And I've got plenty of clamps all over the shop. Along the window wall here, I've got my, well, there's my neck surgery jig. I've also got my bridge slotting jig hanging up there, ready to go. I have my old Roland Cube 20 screwed to the ceiling. I'll be turning 70 in a couple of months, so I am kind of gearing it down. We will continue to do small production runs. Greg mentioned today that we're down to the last 2 units from that run of 100. And then the next run, I'm not too sure when it's going to be. Could be anywhere from June to September, because I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time kind of ramping up with my Digital Course Academy, the membership course, and the StringTech podcasts. So any of you guys anywhere out there, anywhere around the world, if you're interested in jumping on to the StringTech podcasts as we formulate this, we're going to do it in groups of 6 people. So we got 6 people with 6 tech decks, and we have a little conversation and figure out what you guys are doing in your shop, wherever you are. Talk soon. Lots more to come. Happy New Year.